Hey everybody, welcome back to another midweek episode. So a while back I was sitting here in worship at St. John's and I noticed this pesky fly and he was buzzing around the gentleman who was seated in front of me, and he was crawling in his hair and just periodically he would swat him away. He didn't really want to make a big scene. And then the fly would come back and he'd start crawling on his ear or crawling through his hair, and he'd swat at him to try to get him away. And then eventually he flew off to somebody else who was seated a couple of rows ahead. And I thought I'd gotten rid of him until later in the service. Guess what I felt? That pesky fly, now crawling in my hair. And it made me wonder, why do flies like human hair? And so I did a little bit of digging. I was curious. And what I discovered is that the sweat glands of human hair actually produce carbon dioxide and lactic acid, which flies are attracted to. They like that. Also, our hair tends to be oily, and the oils that are produced contain food for flies, especially protein, which they're attracted to. And on top of that, our hair is a warm, moist area where flies can lay eggs. Yeah, gross, right? To think that flies, as they climb around in your hair, are laying eggs, but that's what they're doing. And I thought about that moment in worship a while back, and I realized that that's what we experience a lot in our spiritual lives. Because Satan, as the Bible describes him, is known as Beelzebub, which is translated as the Lord of the Flies. And Satan is that pesky fly who's trying to get in our hair. And his goal, just like the fly that day in worship, Satan's goal is to distract us from worship. I know I was distracted that day as I'm watching this fly climbing around, and I was distracted as I was swatting at that fly, trying to get rid of it without making a scene. Satan's goal is to distract us from worshiping Jesus. And so what do we need to do? We need to be fly swatters. We need to be vigilant. You know, there are times when a fly gets into our house that my wife says, grab a fly swatter and don't put it down until he's dead. You know, we have to do that with Satan. We have to be vigilant against his temptations, against the efforts that he makes to distract us from worshiping Jesus. And in the end, we can have this confidence that even though we swat Satan away, even though we know that he's going to periodically come back, that Jesus is the great fly swatter. Jesus is the one who will eventually swat Satan away and squash him for good. So continue to swat away those pesky flies. Continue to swat away Satan's attempts to distract you from worshiping Jesus. Have a great week. I'll see you again.